Hi, my name is Edwin and this is Pronouns in English and Spanish. Welcome to the session number 1. First of all, we have to start by defining what are pronouns. Well, pronouns are reference words that replace a noun in both English and Spanish. Here we have an example of a sentence in English and Spanish, and we can see that the underlined words are what we name pronouns. According to Baskerville and Sewell, a pronoun is a reference word standing for a name or for a person or thing or for a group of persons or things. According to Andrés Bello, he says that llamamos pronombres los nombres que significan primera, segunda o tercera persona. Ya expresen esta sola idea, ya la asocien con otra. It means that in general terms, pronouns play the same role in English and Spanish. However, we're going to check both the differences and the similarities between each other. To do that, we're going to analyze the different types of pronouns. First, we will start by naming the categories we are going to analyze in this series of videos. Then, here we have personal, object, reflexive, interrogative, relative, indefinite relatives, demonstrative, distributive, and indefinite pronouns in English and Spanish. So it might be so hard to understand at once how the dimension of pronouns are, but explaining little by little, we would understand that pronouns are not so hard to understand. There we go. In first place, we have personal pronouns. In both English and Spanish, we have subject pronouns and object pronouns. In this category of subject pronouns, we can see that both of them are inflected in the same three persons. The first person representing the person speaking, the second person representing the person being spoken to, and the third person is standing for person or thing spoken of. Another similarity that pronouns have in English and Spanish is that there exists an additional category that is called the neuter gender. In English, the category is directly determined by the pronoun it, and in Spanish, the neutrality of this category is determined by the article lo, and its plural los. Now, let's analyze some differences that this category may have. First, due to the particularities and complexity of Spanish, there are more forms in which pronouns are presented. In English, the second person of nominative pronoun is you, while in Spanish, this person has three forms: tú, vos, and usted. This is because in Spanish there are different levels of formality in the second person. This is exclusive for Spanish and you cannot see this form in English. However, it is worth mentioning also that you is not exclusive for singular person, but also works for plural too. Let's see some examples. Finally, one of the most important differences that pronouns have in English and Spanish is that personal pronouns cannot be omitted, while in Spanish this can occur, as you can see in the examples below. Now, it is time to talk about object pronouns. One of the particular things about object pronouns in Spanish is that object pronouns change according to the object. I mean, there exist two categories, one for indirect objects and the other for direct objects. If we can see these two pairs of sentences, we can notice the difference between the object pronouns in Spanish and the object pronouns in English. In English, they remain the same, while in Spanish, they change. Well, unfortunately, time's up. Don't forget to watch the second part of this series of videos in which we will talk about other kinds of pronouns in English and Spanish. See you next time.